Damn, nature, you're scary. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It is Flame. Welcome everyone back to finally some Dr. Stone right here. I know that I'm far behind, but I told you guys this before in my videos. If it was for Demon Slayer, Dr. Stone, or Dam Launcher or anything like that, I'm going to be a little bit behind. 3 episodes behind, but either way though, episode 12 right here, which was a fantastic but very terrifying episode of this series. I also want to point out that we're also halfway done, like more than halfway done with this series so far, which is crazy because it started in summer of 2019 anime, and now we're going to the fall, the last season for 2019, and it's insane. You know, this year is going by so quick, and we're already halfway done with this series. But there's 2 things I saw in this episode here today. Number 1, Mother Nature, and number 2, character developments for Ginro, aka the bodyguard, and Chrome, our beloved scientist that is helping, of course, Senku. First thing I want to talk about first is Mother Nature, because man, they really hit it hard and how terrifying she actually could be to this world. Not just in Dr. Stone and the anime and the Stone world like it was millions of years ago, but also in our day and age as well. We look at Mother Nature as something so beautiful, right? If you go to the forest or desert, whatever you might be, you always see such beautiful things, but sometimes the little things could be so deadly as well. There's one thing our group needs to, of course, get this medicine project in hand so they could, of course, save Ruri, is sulfuric acid. That's our next step of actually making the medicine that hopefully they could be on time to save her life. And it's something that's so deadly that it was the hardest experience for them to actually get. And if it wasn't for Senku's help and they decided to figure this out, they would definitely be dead 100%. And with it, you know, Mother Nature, when you look at it, again, the sulfuric acid that was shown in today's episode, the lake was such a perfect example how you see something so beautiful, right? If it's a place that you're at, if it's this lake full of sulfuric acid, or if it could be a flower or anything like that, to remind us human beings, it's so beautiful and great that we just want to walk towards it and experience the goodness of it. But in reality, some of that good could actually kill you at the exact same time. And I think Ginro was the perfect example in this episode for episode 12 of Dr. Stone, that, you know, he looked at this lake as Ruby, right? Something so beautiful that he was just drawn to it, like something that he wants. He just wants to go closer and just maybe touch this lake and experience all the beauty around it. But in reality, he almost died in this episode if it wasn't, of course, for Kohaku, Senku, and Chrome, because he was lured to it. Like, if you didn't have the knowledge of this, you're basically dead at that point. That's what Senku basically told everyone before going to this lake, that this is something that could be so harmful that you could be dead in a second. He took you back to our science base, or we took you back to the village. There's no way that you will get a cure and actually survive any of this as well. That was the point of the silver tip right here, and that's what makes this sulfuric acid so deadly. And I feel like all places, like even in our generation as well, is something that it's hidden that you can't even see, but it can kill you. Because every time we go out to like a public place, right, if it's like a city or whatever, you feel like the air is so good, right? You're just living your day in and day out how you always will be. But in places like this, some places that you can't see, the toxic in the air can kill you in a snap of a finger. That's what kind of the shoe diagram was talking about when Senku said to everyone in this episode of, in his generation or our generation, whatever you want to call it, of a guy, them exploring the sulfuric acid one day, he just went to tie his shoe and he died instantly, just because on the ground that toxic is so bad, and that eventually it will go up to, of course, you inhaling it, and it can kill you. And that's why with the silver spear, if it turns to black, just because the toxic's in the air, it reacts to silver. If it turns black, then that means that they're at their destination, but also that's a very harmful place at the exact same time that they need to be careful. And that's why, of course, they got the gas mask as well to actually get this acid in the first place. But it's crazy how they demonstrated in this episode how something that's in the air that you can't see can kill you. Just imagine that. Imagine going to a place or to that acid like it was in the anime and experiencing that, how you think the air is so clean all the time, but in reality, if you go somewhere like this, you're dead in an instant if you don't have a gas mask on you. And that also, to believe, like to us watching Dr. Stone, is imagine the people back in the day, millions of years ago, actually getting this acid in the first place just to make a simple ingredient, like if it's medicine or whatever they were planning back in the day, how they actually got that. Because like in our day and age now, that would be terrifying, man. Imagine just getting just a little bit of that acid, but in reality, it could be so deadly that your life will be gone in a second. That's insane. Like, I couldn't imagine the people back in the day getting that stuff to what Senku and them had now. Because, like I said, if it wasn't for Senku's knowledge, they would all be dead there 100%. But I want to talk about character development right now, because character development was strongly going towards Ginro and towards Chrome. So I'll start off with Chrome's character. Chrome's character, I'm so glad we're getting character development with, just because I feel like he's up there with Senku as my favorite character. It's like a Batman and Robin how I look at it, but they're scientists together. After going towards the Sulfuric Acid Lake, Senku says to Chrome that he's not going anymore, that he's going to go by himself, leave Chrome behind, and give him all of his science knowledge, that if he dies in this place, science can't die because Chrome is still here. There's two benefactors of this, and I'm glad that Chrome came up to Senku of being his own person, but when you look at Senku's perspective, he's a character to risk his life over others. Yuzuriya is the perfect example of when he was versing Tsukasa up on the mountain when they were getting their black powder, when of course he was with Taiju and Yuzu back in episodes 1 through 4, 1 through 5 at this point. That's also Senku's weakness, that he'll go through his life throughout others as well. But it's also an idea to us audience of, that's not really a smart idea. Without Senku, like for example the Edison's light bulb, or them creating iron, glass, etc. like that, Senku is the brains of operation of anything like that. And I don't want to give Chrome as a bad character example, but he's a guy that doesn't have our knowledge. He doesn't know phones, electricity, cars, everything like that, or others throughout science history in the world. Senku should be the one to stay alive, and Chrome should be the one to go there. That was the question through all of that, and that's why with us audience looking towards Senku as well, like it should be Chrome instead of Senku on paper when you look at it, because Senku would find other ideas and to be, of course, helping this village a lot more than Chrome would be. But with Chrome, I like it how he stood up for himself, that he's not a lazy person and that he could actually take advantage of something at this point. Even when Senku said, hey, you're risking your life for me, don't worry, I could take care of myself. We should be working together at this point. It's also a little bit of a bad idea that if two scientists go towards this and they die, then science won't be in the world. Tsukasa will win, but of course generation will build that up again. Someone will be born and to love science. That's why we got introduced into Chrome's character, and that's why Senku wanted to say him behind that all this knowledge of science will still be living. But Chrome's like, no, we're going together. We're 10 billion% going to do this. If we work together, we have come this far. Don't doubt me out. I'm my own person. I know how to take care of myself. And I love that so much, because when we look at Chrome's character, we thought that he would be kind of that shy guy of if you just bark orders at him, he would listen. No, I love it how he just stood up as courage to Senku, that he could take care of himself, that he can get this acid, that if they work together, they'll be able to accomplish this. And like I said, on paper, that's really bad, because if both of them go out, that means science is done. Who knows, down the road, it could be thousands, it could be millions of years until eventually another person will love to discover science here yet again. But I like that character development, and that also goes with Kohaku, with Chrome's character as well, because with everyone in the village, they all accepted that Ruri is going to die from this. Like, she's sick, she's the priestess of this village, it's going to be a little bit of time before she dies, and eventually Kohaku will be the next priestess out of everything. And that's what Kohaku is, that she didn't give up on her sister. She will work day in and day out, risking her life to find an ingredient to actually help her sister out. And that's the exact same with Chrome. That's why he wants to do this, to help save the person that he truly loves. Fear was a big important thing within this episode, and it's realistic. Everyone has a fear in this world, whatever it might be. It could be a fear of you dying, it could be heights, it could be dangerous equipment, guns, knives, whatever it might be. So I love it how they took that aspect of this, because Ginro is afraid of death. We could say in this episode he did not want to die, he wanted to stay alive. Haku's worry or fear is her sister dying. That's why she's risking her life day in and day out. And that's the exact same thing with Chrome, is that his fear is the person that he loves is dying, so he has to hurry up and make this medicine happen. Even Senku, we think Senku is this mastermind, he can keep us cool 24/7, but with them going to the sulfuric acid, he was scared too. This is a mentally state within our minds that every single day that we'll have this fear. But there's two things that could happen. Number one, you could let the fear control you and you'll be afraid of this all your life, or you could fight it. And as the perfect thing for Kohaku is that she wants to fight day in and day out to save her sister, and of course Chrome to fight every single day to find a medicine to help Ruri out. So I love that big definition in this as well. And to Ginro is a character where he was scared the exact same time when we met his character, right? Just when Senku was blowing bubbles, he was scared of that and he was letting Ginro do all the work. Ginro, I love his character development at this point because his fear, of course, is dying, but he stood up, he manned up, he got a gas mask, and he helped the characters out. That's one thing in this anime, though, that's very sketchy, and I wonder if it's going to happen to one of our characters down the future of this anime. Is one of them going to die suddenly? Because when Senku and Chrome were at the sulfuric acid, scared of their lives, but at the exact same time, they need this ingredient to keep their cool, because if they overreact, the gas mask will lose, of course, the use for them. Inhale this gas, this toxic in the air, they could die in a second at this point. Chrome was trying to help Senku out. He was falling to his death at this point. If Ginro didn't come and face his fear to help Chrome out, he would have died. And that's the question to us audience, is that is one of the days in Dr. Stone right here, is it not going to be a setup? Is it going to happen randomly like this, that Chrome, a beloved character that we liked, or if it's Ginro or Kohaku or anyone, could die? Because if Ginro didn't face his fear, Chrome would have died at that point, and that definitely would have been the most devastating part of Dr. Stone in history. Like, I think that Ruri could even die at that point as well, because Senku would just keep thinking about his friend, that it was kind of, I feel like he would put the blame on him just because the toxic got to his gas mask and he wrapped it up in tape and Chrome was trying to help him out with that. But I feel like that would get into Senku's head, and eventually Ruri can come to that steps as well. That's a crazy part within Dr. Stone that I really like, and to us audience, it's a us getting goosebumps that one of our characters could die literally in a snap of a finger, just like how this fear and the sulfuric acid was described in this episode at this point. But they managed to get, of course, the acid all together. All that though, they managed to actually get the sulfuric acid, and their step is complete towards getting, of course, the next ingredient, the next step towards medicine of actually helping Ruri out. And time before it, of course, the battle to actually marrying her is about to begin here soon. My guess is maybe next episode or the episode after that. But yeah, this episode definitely was suspenseful. I loved it. It definitely scared me because, like, I know that Chrome wouldn't die because we just got character development for him, but if we get stuff like that in Dr. Stone, that would actually be great. And I'm not saying that just because I don't want anyone to die, but that's what makes Dr. Stone so suspicious of knowledge of us learning stuff within this anime, but something that could happen randomly at the exact same time. I feel like that's life, and that's what's so great about this series. But there we go, guys. That's episode 12. I hope that you guys all enjoyed. Sorry, like I said again, for being so late on these reviews. I'm going to catch up as best I can to eventually watch episode 13 and episode 14 and get it to you guys here, of course, on the channel. But if you guys did enjoy my episode 12 review, make sure, of course, to leave a like. Comment down below what your guys' favorite part in this episode. Was it the character development? Was it Mother Nature being terrifying but also pretty at the same time? And subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But either way, guys, of course, we'll see you in more Dr. Stone reviews and closer to more, of course, new fall 2019 anime here very soon on the channel. But much love, guys, and as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.